There's a great scene in Independence Day where this long shadow gets cast across society. And everyone stops what they're doing and looks up to the sky and bears witness as this enormous alien spaceship emerges from the clouds for the first time. And sure, everyone panics at first, but eventually that obvious threat just hanging there for all to see becomes a catalyst for humanity to unite and get stronger.
So the question is, do we need some kind of alien threat in order to put aside our petty differences and come together? Well, partner, in a way, I think we already have one. The problem is that it isn't obvious like it is in these Hollywood movies. It's hidden. So let's think about how we can rewrite the script and add a little twist.
Don't you think that the aliens in Independence Day were a bit too stupid for a spacefaring civilization? Are we really supposed to believe that Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum thwarted their entire plot? That seems like a pretty critical mistake, underestimating your enemy. And look, they flew in with all of these high-powered enemy warships, guns blazing, but had they just left us alone, we might have killed ourselves in a couple of 100 years.
Now pretend that you and I are part of an even more advanced alien civilization and we're interested in the Earth. What would we do?
Attention. The Federation of Super-Intelligent Spacemen has dispatched a single scouting ship to Earth, where it will sit in the sky, undetectable beneath its cloaking shield, and broadcast a subliminal signal to amplify the baser instincts of humanity. Divide and conquer. The likelihood of total human self-annihilation is near certain, provided they do not detect our hidden influence.
Now you think that this is just a fun thought experiment, but listen to me carefully. I didn't make this up. I know that's hard for you to believe, but that's only because you're under the spell of the alien mothership. Here, put this on. The alien conspiracy is real, metaphorically speaking. And that's because there is a super advanced alien technology hiding right under all of our noses that often causes us to act against our own self-interest, dividing humanity and pushing us all towards the brink of annihilation. Yes, you got it. I'm talking about the human brain. And in order for us to unite against this common enemy, all of us need to have a basic understanding about how it's working against us. So wait, you're saying that we are our own worst enemy and that the solution is more self-knowledge? Oh yeah, I mean, that's ancient history, right?
The alien ship has always been among us, and although early humans could not see it, they had indirect evidence of its existence. Strange weather patterns would form around the ship. Visual distortions would occur when looking at the moon or stars through it, but with no way to study it. They could but speculate as to its nature.
Ancient Greek philosophers like Aristotle knew about the brain, of course, but it was a total mystery. He thought that it was a secondary organ that acted like a radiator to cool off the blood for the heart, which he saw as the real seat of intelligence. 150 years later, a Roman physician and philosopher, Galen, correctly placed thinking inside of the brain, but he thought it all happened in these weird fluid-filled sacs that we know today as ventricles, which really just provide some nutrients and cushioning for the rest of the brain. So we were just completely ignorant of this organ for centuries and centuries and centuries. And eventually we started making these accidental discoveries. We started making contact.
As humanity takes to the sky, they begin accidentally crashing their planes and rockets into the side of the ship, damaging it. And whenever this occurs, they notice all of the humans around
begin to act strangely. One collision may cause humans amnesia. Another may cause hyperaggression. Still another may cause a strange condition whereby they cannot distinguish one face from another.
So now we started to learn about this general relationship between the structural integrity of the ship and our ability to function normally. Or, in other words, form equals function. And different damages to different parts of the ship cause different dysfunctions. The most famous example of this is the story of Phineas Gage, who had a metal rod shot like a bullet up through his cheek, out the top of his head, and it destroyed part of his frontal cortex with it. Now, Phineas made a full recovery, except according to his friends and family and doctor, he was never the same individual afterwards. He couldn't seem to function anymore in social situations. So that is really interesting. But you could see how progress is really slow when you have to wait around for these freak accidents to happen to learn anything. So wouldn't it be great if we had direct access? Wouldn't it be great if we could board the ship?
During the middle of the 20th century, humanity develops an EMP rocket and disables the alien ship's shields. They send up an elite team of scientists and engineers to board the ship. Inside, they find a vast control panel with all manner of buttons, switches, and monitors. Through a process of trial and error, they can figure out what the ship does. This switch turns on the lights. This button turns up the temperature. And this lever flushes the toilet.
In the 1950s and 60s, something magical happened. All of these amazing disciplines that study different aspects of human behavior, like philosophy, psychology, sociology, economics, linguistics, they got together with newer fields like computer science and neuroscience, and they had a baby. The alien ship got its own science. And these secret weapons that we used to board the ship, some of them came in the form of these neuroimaging techniques like EEG and fMRI and DTI, different ways of seeing the activity of the brain in real time. And with techniques like TMS, we can even selectively turn on and off different parts of the brain to see what changes in our feelings and our thoughts and our actions. It was so amazing. It was called the cognitive revolution. And now you're probably wondering why you've never heard of it. Well, it's a conspiracy.
Today, researchers are analyzing the subliminal signals coming from the ship and are building a database of ways it causes humans to think and act irrationally. Slowly, this top-secret information leaks into the public, which demands to know ways to disrupt the signal to keep themselves and their loved ones safe. A media frenzy erupts, exposing the conspiracy with daily headlines.
Alien ship causing commuters to drive erratically in traffic, endangering countless lives. Alien ship dividing humanity along racial lines. Alien ship causes compassion for the death of a single individual, but indifference for the death of thousands. Alien ship responsible for bad investment decisions. Alien ship causing Democrats and Republicans to believe they are fundamentally different. All of our irrational behaviors are starting to make sense. So why aren't we talking about this? Well, I think it's because it threatens the intuition that each and every one of us has that we are 100% in control of our thoughts and actions. But the alien ship generates that illusion of control, just like it generates this illusion of motion. The good news is that when we're humble enough to admit that we're not in control of everything, and we learn about these cognitive biases and start identifying when we fall victim to them, we can regain some of that control that we were so afraid of losing. We are the dominant species on Earth. Barring some alien invasion, the only common enemy that we have left is ourselves. All of these human flaws and cognitive biases that cause us to act irrationally against our own self-interest. And once these problems are seen clearly, once they're as obvious a threat as a giant alien spaceship floating up in the sky over Manhattan, we'll be able to unite and fight the problem together. And I'm sure our president will give an amazingly heartfelt speech at the end.
Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Gets me every time. Partner, before you go, let me know down in the comments. What mystery of the alien ship do you want me to try to probe next? I had a lot of fun. I'll see you next time on The Joy of Thinking. Bye-bye.
Precious.
Alien ship. Alien ship. Alien ship.